Hello, good morning everyone. I welcome you all for the Big Data Analytics class. Sorry for the delay. I think, sorry for the delay really. I forgot that today I'm in class at 9:30. I was having an assumption that I'm having class at 10:30. Sorry for the delay. I'm going to extend the classes. Don't worry about that, please. Uh, Fine. Uh, where we have started yesterday. Okay, guys. Basically, we have done all the basic languages. Okay, so that is very very important in case of Hadoop. It may be a pig, it may be a hive. Okay, it may be even your scoop. It may be like what I can say, flume. Okay, so any language it may be we have completed already. And very very important thing, we have studied about HBase. Okay, HBase is nothing but called as Hadoop base. Okay, which is very very similar to that of Google Bigtable. Okay, only the thing is Google people has their own standard called as Google Bigtable, and Hadoop people, Yahoo people are having their own standard called as Hadoop base. Both are nothing but they are centralized storages. Okay, so what is the purpose of the centralized storage? Mainly they are going to allow you to access the data randomly and very fastly. That is the beauty of this centralized storage. Okay, so yesterday we have studied head-based architecture where you are having a zookeeper. Zookeeper plays a very very important role. Okay, guys, zookeeper plays a very very important role because it is going to keep track about the heartbeat of the nodes. You understand what's the meaning of a heartbeat of the nodes? Like a human being, unless and until your heart is going to beat, you are going to consider that you people are alive. Okay, in the same manner, okay, Hadoop, no, in Hadoop distributed file system, a node keeper heartbeat should be captured. In the sense means whether it is alive or not. Okay, that is the work. That is, we call it as zookeeper is going to maintain the health. In the beginning of this classes only, I have studied about the zookeeper. Okay, so Hadoop master, and they are all different kinds of region servers. Okay, on the top of Hadoop distributed file system, and there will be a client. Okay, we'll study everything in the detail how to work with respect to that of a Hadoop base. Okay, Hadoop base installation is nothing but first we need to download. This is the link where you can download this Hadoop base. Okay, and you can extract by using a sudo. Okay, and basically here also everything is command oriented. If I want to move the file to my local folder, I can call it as a move operation. Okay, so this is how the things goes, and even you can set the path where you want in the headspace. Okay, to store and build zookeeper. Okay, this is how the things goes. And people can see I can create the database and insert the data in my Hadoop base. Okay, basically this all the things is going to be done in Metastore. Guys, do you remember Metastore? Okay, Metastore. What is the work of the Metastore? People have studied in the Hive. Okay, so this is how the things goes. Metastore, where we are going to write and run the queries. Okay, so like this, you people know create database name. Okay, if I want to copy the data from one place to another place, you people remember there was a put command. Okay, but even though put command is having a limitations. Okay, you people studied in the previous slides. Okay, like this I can inspect the database, like scan Apple. What all the things belongs to Apple is going to be displayed in terms of rows and columns. Okay, if I want to get a row, I can say get Apple. Okay, so basically people can see create Apple. Apple is my database now. Okay, I can say get Apple. With respect to that date, I'm going to display all the columns. Okay, so even I can say get table cell. Okay, so I can say even any cell in the table, like a column whose price is low, I can filter like this. That's the beauty of this database, which you cannot find in which you cannot find in your old relational traditional database system. Okay, so this is how the things goes in case of get table. Okay, where I'm going to get column and cell. That is how I can get the data, and even I can get the table cell. Okay, so individual table cell also I can get. Basically, what I can do is I'm having such a good option. See here, get Apple with respect to that date. Okay, column, volume, and price is low. I can filter the database like this. That's the beauty of it. Okay, that I cannot surely do in my relational database table. Okay, So if I want to delete, obviously, again, I can say delete Apple with respect to that date and which are all the prices they are low. See, they are the things where we are storing the data in terms of price. Price is open, price is high, price is low, price close, volume. Okay, this is how the things goes. Okay, put is nothing but I am copying the data. Okay, database from one place to another place, which is a command. And people also have seen that uh, put is having a limitations. Put is having a limitations. Okay, so I can say even delete all, which is going to delete all the Apple based database. Like even it may be a price is having low, high, open, everything. Okay, and I can even say disable Apple, means I can make the database to pause. I can make the database to pause where nobody can access it, and I can drop the table also. Okay, so even I can do the scripting in case of my Hadoop base. Okay, so people know what is the purpose of using a echo. Okay, so I can even print the database like how your people are using in your web lab. Okay, inside a echo I can use all the tags, if you remember. Okay, if you remember, inside the echo I can use all the tabs like create Apple price value. Like this I can use the database content inside a scripting. That is the beauty of this Hadoop base. Okay, so see, I can even insert the data like yeah, echo create mango price value, echo create put. Okay, now I want to insert the data. Okay, insert the data where I can use instead of insert I can use put. Okay, mango 123 price 100. These are the things goes. I told you here we are going to use HQL instead of SQL. Okay, that is structured query language and it is Hadoop query language. Okay, so these are the things goes, and even I can create a scripting file .sh in Hadoop base. Okay, these are the scripting works. Okay, so when I come for web interfaces, as you people know in our web programming labs, once we have done the PHP coding or some other coding, we used to access through web interfaces. If you remember, HTTP double slash localhost slash file name. If it is a XAMPP, if people remember how you is going to access. Similarly, if I say 60010, that is a port number of your Hadoop base where I can access the web interfaces. Okay, these are the things goes. Okay, so why YARN? Now, you people know before when we developed the Hadoop version 1, actually we have not used YARN in it. Okay, so we are just using MapReduce concepts. Okay, that is now we are using Hadoop version 2. After two, many versions has been came apart from that, but now we are using Hadoop version 2. Okay, Hadoop version 2. But in Hadoop version 2, we people are using YARN. Okay, basically I remember in the first classes when I started about the YARN, I told YARN is a scheduler. Okay, but actually YARN is just not a scheduler. Okay, YARN is just not a scheduler. It is going to do a lot of tasks. Okay, but it is not present in Hadoop version 1.0. Do you guys, it should make clear, we should very clear that what is the difference between Hadoop version 1.0 and Hadoop version 2.0. Okay guys, can you listen me? It is very important to understand the difference between Hadoop version 1.0 and Hadoop version 2.0. Okay, so in case of Hadoop version 1.0, we doesn't have YARN. Okay, basically what is a YARN? YARN is a scheduler basically, but actually YARN is having much more to do in Hadoop version 2.0, which we are going to see. But basically, even we call it as Hadoop version 1.0 as MRV1. Okay, MRV1 is nothing but MapReduce version 1. Okay, MapReduce version 1 is perform both, is basically MapReduce version 1 performs processing and resource management functions. Okay, what it consists of? It consists of very important things. Two things. One is called as a job tracker, and one is called as a task tracker. Okay, what is the work of the task tracker? Is to repeatedly inform the job tracker what the work it is doing. Okay, in every time interval, the task tracker, which is going to executing some of the task based on map and reduce, is going to keep on informing the job tracker that what the job they are doing. Okay guys, that is the work of the task tracker. Okay, so it assigns map and reduce task on the number of subordinate process called as task tracker, and periodically it reports the progress to the job tracker. Okay, so but what is a job tracker? Job tracker is the one who is going to allocate the resources. Okay, And even not only the resources, in Hadoop version 1.0, it should be very clear. I'm telling Hadoop version 1.0, job tracker allocated the resources, performed scheduling and monitoring the processing of the job. It is going to allocate the resources, it is going to perform the scheduling, and it is going to monitor the progress of the job. That is the work of your job tracker in case of Hadoop version 1.0. Why I am stressing Hadoop version 1.0, Hadoop version 1.0? Because Hadoop version 1.0 is different from Hadoop version 2.0. Okay, that is where the yarn come into the picture. Okay, so guys, the job tracker work is only not only to allocate the resources, but it is going to perform more than one operations. That is nothing but it is going to do the scheduling. It is going to do the monitoring of the processing jobs. And what is the work of the task tracker? Task tracker is going to do the map and reduce operations. Okay, with that, it is going to periodically report their job trackers about to the job trackers what it is doing. Okay, but why yarn? That is why yarn is introduced in your Hadoop. That's a very big question. Okay, it has been clearly told, it has been clearly told it has been clearly told that IBM has mentioned in an article that according to Yahoo, okay, the practical limits of such a designed Hadoop version 1 is of 55,000 nodes and 40,000 tasks. Okay, which is very less. If you compare to today's Hadoop cluster, it is going to hold lakhs together of nodes, okay, and lakhs together of tasks. Are you guys understanding? Lakh together of nodes and lakh together of tasks. But in the initial stage of Hadoop version, okay, 1.0, IBM mentioned that basically Hadoop is developed by Yahoo. So Yahoo doesn't come up and told, but actually IBM told in the article about the Yahoo that the practical limits of such design are reached, okay, are exhausted, are reached to a maximum threshold that with a cluster of 5,000 nodes and 40,000 tasks, which is very less compared to today's big data. At that time, the big data is getting evolved, so it is okay to use Hadoop version 1.0 in the beginning. But today, the big data is so big, even it is almost, people says the 90% of the data has been accumulated in the recent 10 years. If you believe me, whatever the data was there, the 90% of the data has been accumulated in the span of 10 years. If people know existence of the earth, I cannot go to social now, okay, or even geography. If people know existence of the earth, okay, even nobody knows, but we will say now the era is 2020. Then you can say yes, maybe the earth is evolved 2020 years ago, okay. But the techies, the specialist says that uh, the data, maximum data has been accumulated in the last 10 years. Okay, in the last 10 years, 90% of the world data has been accumulated. So this is a very small if we compare to present data that we are having only 5,000 nodes and 40,000 tasks, which is going to be reached to threshold. Okay, so that's a limitation. Okay, and even the utilization of the computation resources is inefficient. Okay, so that is all the drawbacks of the yarn, not the yarn guys. That is the drawback of the map reduce in Hadoop version 1.0. Okay, so what happened then? The people started to bring yarn into the Hadoop. Okay, that is what the people did. That people in the sense means who did Yahoo in the year 2020, sorry 2012. Yahoo and Hortonworks, they are the two companies. They are combined together. Okay, they bring the Hadoop in the Hadoop version 2.0. Okay, they created the yarn in the Hadoop and given the name version 2.0. Okay, so this basic idea behind the yarn is to relieve the work of the MapReduce. Because if people see Hadoop version 1.0, why I'm stressing more on Hadoop version 1.0 and Hadoop version 2.0? Because you need to understand this, which is very important. I'm saying Hadoop. Then if you doesn't know what is the difference between the Hadoop 1.0 and Hadoop 2.0, it is waste of learning the Hadoop only. Okay, so if people can see in Hadoop 1.0, MapReduce is the one which is doing all the operations. Okay, like you people can see It is going to allocate the resources, perform scheduling, and monitoring the processing of the jobs. So there comes the yarn into the picture, who is going to make the work of the MapReduce to be less. Okay, by taking over the responsibility, what the responsibility how yarn is going to take place is, one is scheduler, you know, yarn is a scheduler, and even yarn is going to take the responsibility of the resource management. Are you guys understanding? Resource management and job scheduling, both the work of the MapReduce in Hadoop version 1.0 has been taken up by the yarn in Hadoop version 2.0. That is where we bring the yarn into the Hadoop. Okay, and even yarn started to give, the yarn is so such a good scheduler. It started to give the Hadoop the ability to run even the run non-map reduced jobs. Okay, if basically you know what the job it is coming, you should understand that job and it should run. Okay, but yarn what it did, it helped the Hadoop the ability to run the non-map reduced jobs. Okay, with the Hadoop framework. Okay, that is one more beauty of the yarn. So why MapReduce is having some limitations? You people know what are the limitations of the MapReduce. Even though MapReduce is a powerful distributed framework, okay, and even it's a very beautiful programming model, the very big disadvantage we can see is it is batch based. It is going to do the processing of the data based on the batches. Okay, so even I draw something, my own diagram in the past classes, and I tried to explain what is the meaning of the batch. Okay, if this is one data node and this is another data node, guys, can you see this? Okay, here you are having a job task of 1 2, and here you are having a job task of 3 7. Now if you want to run anything in the sequential, you need to search all the data set. Okay, then you need to make them a batch. Are you understanding? Then you should run that. Okay, so that is how the things goes with respect to that of the batch based process. Okay, which is a disadvantage basically. Means it is a time consuming process where you need to find all the data sets. Guys, here I am speaking about only 2 data nodes. If you really go into the real world, you people are going to have lakhs together of data in a particular cluster. Okay, so their searching of the database is a very big question. Okay, and this meant the processing models such as graphs, iterative and real-time data processing are not a natural fit to the MapReduce. Okay, you people cannot usually use the graphs. Okay, iterative process, and even sometimes the real-time data processing is the biggest headache in Hadoop version 1.0. But that all the things has been overcome. Okay, that is how the Hadoop version 2 has been developed. Those who have came to the class, my first class, I think in the college, I think I told the history about this logo. Okay, can anybody tell me, those who have attended the first class, who is the father of Hadoop? Anyone unmute and tell me. Let your friends to know who is the father of the Hadoop. Don't think I'm don't know, so I'm asking. Okay, so kindly tell me who is the father of the Hadoop. Anybody unmute? Can you unmute and tell me anybody father of Hadoop? I know many of you know who is the father of the Hadoop and why this logo came into the picture. Can anybody explain this to your friends? Because I already told you once. Anyone why this elephant logo came into the picture for the Hadoop and who is father of the Hadoop? Anyone would like to tell this? Anyone in the group?
Daf cutting.
Yeah. Okay. Dutch cutting, usually they are going to call it as a Dutch cutting. Okay. So he is one who is going to be called as father of the Hadoop. What happened is the people developed the Hadoop. Okay. Then after developing the Hadoop, they were searching for the logo. Okay. Everybody joined in the Dutch cuttings home and they were searching for the logo. What the logo to be kept. Okay. Then suddenly what happens? This Dutch cutting son or daughter, they are playing with the small yellow elephant. Okay, So when the people's when Dutch Cutting saw his son or daughter, they playing with a small yellow elephant. Okay, they are going to he tells that yes, I got the logo for the Hadoop, and that logo is nothing but a yellow elephant. Okay, so people say this if on that day this Dutch Cutting son or daughter, so if he or she was playing with a snake or cobra or something else, even God knows, or gorilla also. Dutch Cutting may have kept the logo as a gorilla or something else. Okay, so this is how the thing came into the picture with respect to Hadoop. That is how the logo came. Okay, of the Hadoop. Every language is having a history. Okay, even Python, Java, C++, everything is having a history. Okay, and if people know Java was considered as a oak, and why it came to the Java, many things. Okay, so basically now you come across and concentrate towards the slides. Okay, so what happened in case of Hadoop 1.0 version? Okay, there is only MapReduce who is doing all the tasks. Okay, MapReduce is the one who is doing data processing. MapReduce is the one who is doing resource management. MapReduce is the one who is doing job scheduling too. Okay, but actually when you come to the Hadoop version 2.0, that is been replaced by Yarn. Okay, Yarn. What Yarn did, Yarn take over the control of resource management and job scheduling especially, and MapReduce was doing other data processing frameworks. Okay, other works. So like this, the burden of the MapReduce has been reduced in Hadoop version 2.0 by Yarn. Okay, that is why the Yarn become very famous in Hadoop version 2.0. Okay, so what are the components of the Yarn? You people basically know apart from resource management, Yarn is also doing job scheduling. Okay, Yarn is also doing job scheduling. Uh, that Apache Hadoop Yarn architecture consists of following parts. Means there are two parts. One is called as resource manager, and one more is called as node manager. Okay, so basic components of the Yarn. You already know what is a MapReduce. You know what is Hadoop distributed file system. You know what is HBase. You know what is Hive. You know what is Pig. You know what is Scoop. You know what is Flume. Okay, now you need to know what is Yarn. So he is basically concentrating towards the Yarn. Again, he is not telling everything to you guys, like MapReduce, HDFS, Hive, HBase. No, nothing. Directly is telling what is Yarn. Okay, so Yarn, apart from resource management, Yarn is also going to do the job scheduling. It is going to do the job scheduling on the three concepts which you are going to study. One is called as a FIFO, one is called as capacity, one more is called as FAIR. That you will see in the upcoming slides. Okay, this is what the three kinds of the job scheduling techniques that is going to be used by the Yarn. Okay, so basically it is going to have architecture have two things. One is resource manager, one more is node manager. Resource manager is going to act like a master, okay, who is going to manage the resource allocations into the cluster. What is the meaning of resource is nothing but basically it's a data, or it may be some kind of a job. Okay, yeah, you people know they are going to provide a lot of facilities like even CPU utilizations, services, different kinds of services, everything they are going to provide. So resource manager is the one who is going to help you to allocate the resources. Okay, and even it is going to be call it as a master process. Okay, master node, I can say. Okay, one more is called as node manager, which is going to act like a slave, and it is responsible for the execution of every single task. Okay, in the data node, which is going to allocate the work to the data node to the storage, and it is going to get the work done. This is what the components of the Yarn are. Okay, this is going to act like a resource allocator. It is going to act like a work generator who is going to get the work done, okay, by using the data nodes. It is called as a node manager. It is a Hadoop master. Okay, so coming back, the resource manager in the Yarn master process, any Hadoop cluster people take, it is going to have a single RM. Okay, what is the meaning of RM? RM is nothing but resource manager for the entire cluster, who is going to be a sole function, okay, to do the resources in the Hadoop cluster. Okay, yeah, this resource manager consists of two things. One is called as scheduler, and one more is called as application manager. Okay, we will see what is the work of the scheduler. It is going to do the scheduling of the jobs based on three criteria in the yarn. I told you one is the criteria called as FIFO, and you know what is the meaning of a FIFO. The second criteria is called as capacity scheduling, and the third criteria is called as fair scheduling. Okay, guys, these are the things goes in the schedulers. And what is the work of application manager? People will see shortly. Okay, so coming back, one more component of our yarn. You people know what is the one more component of our yarn. It is node manager. Okay, node manager is a slave process. Everybody knows it runs on the data node. Okay, it creates. It is going to create a job node. Node manager create a job, monitor the job, and kill the job. Okay, that is the work of the node manager. Okay, and it requests the resources from the resource manager. Okay, and it is also going to help you to create the containers, and it reports the status of the containers. When I say status of the container, who is there inside a container, who is going to keep track about the status? Basically, who is going to keep track about the health of the nodes? Anybody can tell me who is going to keep track about the health of the nodes? Anyone? Anybody who can say me who is going to keep track about the health of the nodes? Who is going to basically keep track about the health of the nodes, like heartbeat, whether the node is alive or not? Anybody can tell me? Anybody can unmute and tell me who is going to keep track about the health of the nodes? I have told you many times, there is one and only one person in your Hadoop cluster who is going to control the health monitor of the nodes. It is none other than Zookeeper. Okay, so Zookeeper, keep it in your mind. Zookeeper is the one who is going to keep track about the heartbeat of the nodes. Heartbeat in the sense means the health. Okay, that is what once the node manager register with the resource manager. Okay, this node manager consists of a Zookeeper. It keep on sending the heartbeats with the status and wait for the instructions. That is what the resource manager, node manager is going to do with respect to that of a resource manager. Because when you are sending, keep on sending the resources from the resource manager RM to the node manager, you should know whether the node is alive or not. If you keep on sending the data to the node which is dead, which is of no use, okay, it doesn't respond. It is just it is a time consuming process. That is what happens when you are searching something over the Google and suddenly it says data is not available. Again you refresh the content, again it may available something. At that time there may be a connection drop between the data, right? So that is how you should keep track about this. And the primary goal in them is nothing but to manage the application, okay, which is going to be assigned by the container. What is this container? We'll see. Okay, so coming back to the yarn application. Okay, yarn application implement specific functions. Okay, yeah, client is the one who is going to create any application here. Okay, so it involves three things. One is client, one is application master, one more is a container. And who is going to create an application? Basically the client. Okay, client is going to create an application, that we will see. People can see here, client is the one who is going to create any application, and that is going to be informed to the resource manager. I need such an application, like for example I need a memory, right? Or I need a some sort of service, I need to configure some files, I need to run some program, right? Are you guys understanding? That is an application that is going to be created by the client. Okay, so then what happens? Client is going to be informed to the resource manager. The resource manager will create a node manager which consists of container and application master. Okay, inside a container, application master will be there. That is, the application master is going to map the task. Okay, and this node manager, in this node manager there will be a Zookeeper which is keep on informing the resource manager Okay, fine. Okay. Uh, okay, guys. As I was telling, okay, the client is going to send the information to the resource manager. Okay, resource manager is going to allocate a node, particular node, which is going to do all the tasks. Okay, it is going to have a container. In that container, it may be an application master and master. So what is the client application? As I telling you, as we're discussing, the client application may be it may be a service, it may be a configuration of the files, it may be a memory, it may be a CPU utilization, or it may be what I can say some software packages. Anything it may be, that all the task is going to be done by this node managers and is going to respond to the resource manager. Okay, so this is how the things goes. And any application starts with a yarn client, okay, which is going to communicate with the resource manager to create such an application. Okay, and then the part of the process involves is nothing but informing resource manager what the application master is needed and providing the physical resource requirements. Now I told you I want to configure the files. Basically I need a hardware resources in the background to configure the files. Or example, I told you I need a CPU utilization. Okay, in order to utilize the CPU I need again the hardware requirements, that is nothing but physical resources, and such resources are going to be provided by the application masters. Okay, yeah, application master is the master process of the yarn application. Okay, and basically it doesn't perform any application specific work. Okay, instead of that it is responsible for managing containers. Okay, what happens once the application master is started? Okay, as a container, people can see here application master is also a part of a container. Okay, so what happens when it is started? Okay, it will periodically send the heartbeats to the resource manager. And why you need the heartbeat, I'm telling again and again, inside this application manager there may be n number of the nodes. Okay, every node is should be healthy in order to respond whatever the resources you ask to it. So to keep track about whether the resources are healthy or not, the application manager is here is the responsible who is going to send the information to the resource master. You don't worry, obvious there will be a zookeeper. Okay, because the whole and sole responsibility of the health issue is going to be maintained by only zookeeper. Okay, in Hadoop cluster. Okay, so what is a container? Container is nothing but it's an application specific process. Okay, I told you container. What is container? We will study in the upcoming slides. And container is an application specific process. Okay, so that created by the node manager. Okay, on behalf of any application master. What is the work of the container? I told you the work of the container is to provide the physical resources. Okay, so I told you what is the meaning of a physical resources. The physical resources may be like your RAM, CPU, and memory. Okay, these all the things are the physical resources that is going to be provided by the container. Okay, so as I telling you, yarn scheduler policies, basically there are three yarn scheduler policies. Okay, so one is nothing but called as a FIFO scheduler, the second one is called as a capacity scheduler, and the third one is called as a fair scheduler. Okay, so what is the work of the FIFO scheduler? You know, FIFO is going to work first in, first out. Okay, suppose the job one comes, okay, it is working, it is completed, then the job two will come. This is how the utilization and time. Okay, the second thing is capacity scheduler. What is the meaning of a capacity scheduler? Here they are going to share the job. Okay, so means based on the capacities they are going to share the jobs. Okay, so if the job is very important, and then they are going to allocate the resources to that job. That is nothing but called as a capacity scheduler. And the third kind of the scheduler is nothing but called as the fair scheduler. Okay, so what is the work of the fair scheduler? Here the average scheduling is done. What is the meaning of average scheduling, or more than average scheduling? I can say fair share. Okay, what is the meaning of fair share? Means everybody will give some equal rights, every job. Okay, based on the type of the job, every job is going to give the equal share to utilize the work. Okay, that is nothing but called as the fair scheduler. People can now many of you are doing your technical seminars. You may get a lot of the papers on these schedulers. Okay, if you want really you can search out and take it like a topic. Okay, like a fair scheduler, or it may be a capacity scheduler, or even it may be your FIFO scheduler in the Hadoop cluster, and you can do execute your what I can say. It's a technical seminar. Okay, so this is how the things goes. Okay, so then comes don't worry, I have asked GSSR to give me five more minutes of the time. Okay, we will try to read about Apache Ambari, and then we are going to close the sessions today. Okay, so what is this Apache Ambari? I think when you people are studying your cloud computing, somewhere you have heard this word. Okay, basically it is a graphic management tool. What is the meaning of a graphic management tool? Now, you people say in Facebook is using Hadoop. Okay, then when you are going to say that is a Facebook, when you see its dashboard, are you guys understanding? In the dashboard, you can do lot of tasks. What are the things you can do in the Facebook dashboard? You can create your profile, you can share the post, you can create some I can say tweet, and then you can share it to a lot of people. Moreover from them you can play the games. Okay, you can play the games, you can sell anything, right? Nowadays if people are having like OLX Skype inside a Facebook, that is a dashboard, right? Inside this dashboard people can do every okay guys, there is a lot of network issues. Fine, we are going to continue in the next classes. Okay, so from Ambari, okay, we are going to study with Apache Ambari, and we are going to complete the concepts. Thank you, sir. Thank you.